Stop. Don't touch that change jar yet. Because what I'm about to tell you, most people completely missed. For decades, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was one of the most common coins in America, passing through millions of hands every single day. But then, quietly, without a national announcement, it disappeared from circulation. No warning, no headlines. The U.S. government simply stopped making them, and over time, they vanished from everyday use. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Before these pennies disappeared, a small number were released with rare mint errors, unique dates, and hidden variations. The kind serious collectors are willing to pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars for today. And the craziest part? Some of these coins are still out there, sitting in old jars, coin rolls, forgotten collections, being spent like they're worth just 1 cent. Today, I'm going to show you the exact Lincoln Wheat pennies you need to check, starting with one of the most overlooked and valuable coins that people ignore every single day. Before you spend another penny, watch this. Video coin number 1. Stop right there, because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you look at a simple 1-cent coin. The 1951 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just loose change. It is a time traveler, survivor of history, and in very rare cases, a coin that can carry surprising value far beyond its tiny face value. Back in 1951, America was rising into a new era of power and industry. Factories were alive, money was flowing, and coins were being produced in massive numbers. At the Denver Mint, marked with a small d, over 625 million of these pennies were struck and released into circulation. That means millions of hands touched this coin, workers, families, soldiers, children, each passing it along without ever imagining its future significance. LincolnWheatPenny.com +1. On the front of the coin, you see Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of strength and unity. This design had already been in use for decades, and by 1951 it had become one of the most recognizable images in the United States. On the back, 2 wheat stalks represent growth, prosperity, and a nation moving forward. But hidden behind this simple design is a deeper story, one of rarity, condition, and overlooked treasure. Now here's the truth that most viral videos won't tell you clearly. The 1951 D penny is not rare in general. In fact, it's one of the most common wheat pennies ever made. Most of these coins today are worth only a few cents, even after more than 70 years. But don't stop listening, because this is where the real story begins. Use at coinbook.com +1. Value in coin collecting is not about age alone. It's about condition, rarity, and uniqueness. A normal, war 1951, D penny that has scratches, dirt, or heavy circulation may only be worth a small amount. But if that same coin exists in near-perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, its value can jump dramatically. Some high-grade examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially when they retain their original red copper shine. Coino +1. And then come the hidden secrets, the errors. Tiny minting mistakes that most people would never notice can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Slight doubling in letters, misaligned strikes, or unusual surfaces can make a coin stand out. These are the coins that collectors chase, the ones that disappear into auctions and private collections, sometimes selling for shocking prices. But let's be real for a moment. Claims like $300,000 for 1951 D penny are extremely exaggerated. That level of value is usually reserved for legendary error coins like the famous 1943 bronze cent or the 1955 double die, not standard 1951 D pennies. The excitement you see online often mixes truth with hype. The real opportunity lies in understanding the difference. The sun. Still, there is something powerful about this coin. Imagine holding it, feeling its weight, knowing it was minted when the world was completely different. This penny may have traveled through decades of history, survived economic changes, wars, and technological revolutions, and still exists today in your hand. That alone gives it meaning beyond money. Collectors often say the real treasure is not just the price, it's the discovery. finding a coin that others ignored, recognizing its details, understanding its story. That's where the real excitement lives. And sometimes, just sometimes, that discovery leads to real financial value. So if you have a 1951 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny, don't rush to spend it. Look closely. Check the mint mark. Study the surface. Ask yourself, does it look different? Is it unusually sharp, clean, or unique? Because while most are common, a rare few are not. And that is the secret of this coin. It teaches you that value is hidden in details. What looks ordinary to millions can be extraordinary to the one person who truly understands it. Stop scrolling and listen closely, because the coin you're about to hear about is not just another old penny. It's a silent witness to history, a forgotten survivor of time, and for a very small number of people, a hidden opportunity that feels almost unreal. The 1954 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny may look like nothing more than a worn piece of copper, but behind that simple appearance lies a story that most people never take the time to understand. In 1954, America was deep in a period of growth and quiet transformation. The war years were over, industries were booming, and everyday life was moving faster than ever. At the Denver Mint, millions upon millions of pennies were struck, each stamped with that small but important D mint mark. These coins were never meant to be rare. They were created to move through hands quickly, used for bread, milk, bus fares, small moments of daily life. No one at that time imagined that decades later, people would be studying these coins under magnification, searching for tiny details that could change everything. On the front of the coin stands Abraham Lincoln, a figure chosen not just for recognition, but for meaning. His image represents endurance, leadership, and unity during one of the most difficult times in American history. On the reverse, the wheat stalks quietly symbolize growth and stability. But what makes the 1954 D penny truly interesting is not its design. It's the hidden variations, the unnoticed differences, and the rare conditions that most people overlook completely. Here's the truth that cuts through all the noise. The average 1954 D wheat penny is common. Extremely common. Millions still exist today, and most of them are worth only a few cents, even after more than half a century. The idea that every coin from this year is worth $700,000 is simply not real. That kind of value belongs to extremely rare, historically unique coins, not standard circulation pieces. But don't mistake that truth for disappointment, because the real story is far more interesting. Value in coins doesn't come from the date alone. It comes from condition, rarity, and error. A 1954 D penny that has been heavily used, scratched, or damaged carries history, but not high monetary value. However, a coin that somehow escapes circulation, remaining sharp, bright, and nearly flawless, can be worth significantly more. Collectors call these high-grade coins, and they are much harder to find than most people realize. Then there are the errors, the real hidden secrets. During the minting process, small imperfections sometimes occurred. Slight doubling in the letters, uneven strikes, or unusual surfaces could create coins that are completely different from the standard issue. These are the coins that collectors hunt for. These are the coins that can sell for surprising amounts, because they are unique, not because they are old. But the shocking government secret people talk about isn't a hidden conspiracy. It's something simpler and more powerful. Governments mint coins in huge quantities, knowing most will be lost, damaged, or forgotten. What they don't control is what survives in perfect condition or what rare errors slip through unnoticed. That's where rarity is born, not in secrecy, but in chance. Imagine this for a moment. A single 1954 D penny leaves the mint, enters circulation, and disappears into everyday life. Maybe it sits in a jar for decades. Maybe it gets passed from one generation to another. Maybe it's lying right now in a drawer, completely ignored. And yet, if that coin happens to be in exceptional condition or carries a rare minting flaw, it suddenly becomes something entirely different. This is why collectors pay attention. They don't just see coins, they see details. They see history in metal. They understand that even a dirty coin has a story, but a clean, well-preserved one has rarity. And sometimes, the smallest difference, a sharper edge, a clearer date, a subtle doubling, can separate a common coin from a valuable one. The dream of becoming a millionaire overnight from a penny is powerful, but it's also misunderstood. Real value takes knowledge, patience, and careful observation. The people who find valuable coins are not just lucky, they are aware. They look closer than everyone else. They question what others ignore. So if you ever come across a 1954 D. Wheat Penny, don't rush past it. Hold it. Look at it carefully. Check the mint mark. Examine the condition. Notice the details. Because while most of these coins are ordinary, a very small number are not. And those are the ones that change everything. In the end, the true power of this coin is not just in money. It's in perspective. It teaches you that value is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows how to recognize it. And sometimes, the difference between something worthless and something valuable is simply the ability to see what others cannot. Next up, stop right now, because the coin you're about to hear about is not just a simple piece of copper. It is a forgotten survivor of history, a silent traveler through time, and for a very small number of people, a hidden treasure that feels almost unbelievable. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, may look completely ordinary, but its story runs far deeper than what your eyes can see. In 1956, the United States was in a powerful phase of growth. Industry was booming, families were building new lives, and coins were being produced in massive quantities to keep the economy moving. At the Philadelphia Mint, hundreds of millions of these pennies were struck without a mint mark, because at that time, Philadelphia coins didn't carry one. These coins were never meant to be rare. They were made to be spent quickly, passed from one hand to another, becoming part of everyday life without a second thought. On the front of the coin is Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity and strength, a reminder of a nation that had endured its greatest challenges and continued forward. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks represent growth, prosperity, and stability. But behind this simple design lies something far more interesting, the possibility of rarity hidden inside something common. Now here is the truth that most people don't hear clearly. The average 1956 wheat penny with no mint mark is extremely common. Millions still exist today, and most are worth only a few cents. The idea that every such coin is worth $900,000 is not real. That level of value belongs to extremely rare coins with unique historical significance or dramatic minting errors. But that doesn't mean this coin has no potential. It just means you need to understand where the real value comes from. In the world of coin collecting, value is not about age alone. It is about condition, rarity, and uniqueness. A heavily worn, scratched, or dirty coin tells a story, but it usually carries low monetary value. However, a coin that has survived decades in near-perfect condition, sharp details, clean surfaces, and original shine, can be worth far more than expected. These high-grade coins are rare because most coins were used, damaged, or lost over time. Then come the hidden secrets, the minting errors. During production, small imperfections sometimes occurred. Slight doubling in the lettering, unusual surface textures, or minor misalignments could create coins that are different from the rest. These differences are often invisible to the untrained eye, but collectors search for them carefully. These are the coins that can bring surprising prices because they are not just old, they are unique. The idea of a shocking government secret is often misunderstood. There is no hidden announcement or secret plan behind these coins. The real secret is much simpler and more powerful. When coins are produced in huge numbers, a few unusual pieces slip through unnoticed. Over time, these rare survivors become valuable because they're different, not because they were intentionally made special. Imagine holding a 1956 penny that has passed through decades of history. It may have been used in the 1950s, saved in the 1970s, forgotten in the 1990s, and rediscovered today. Each mark on its surface represents a moment in time. But if that same coin somehow avoided heavy use, if it remained clean, sharp, and untouched, It becomes something rare in a world where most coins have been worn down. The dream of becoming a millionaire overnight from a single penny is powerful, but is also often exaggerated. Real collectors don't rely on hype. They rely on knowledge. They examine coins closely, study their details, and understand what makes one coin different from another. They know that while most coins are common, a few are not, and those few are where the real value lies. So if you find a 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. Examine the details. Check its condition. Ask yourself if it looks sharper, cleaner, or more unusual than the coins around it. Because while most of these pennies are ordinary, a very small number carries something extra, something that makes collectors pay attention.